Hi guys, and welcome. Today is Saturday, February 17th, and I'm coming on just a little bit early for my live. I have an errand I have to run, so I have to leave the house at 10:30. So I just wanted to come on a little bit early to make sure we got this next segment done. We're getting close to the end, so very exciting. I'm going to go over to YouTube really quick, just make sure I'm showing up live there. And of course it has the wrong title again. So I will change that once we get further along. How about that? I don't know if I can change it right now. Let me see. Can I change it right now? I doubt it'll let me. Let me see. Let me see. This is what, chapter 8. Let's see. Sorry about that. I've done the premieres lately, so I haven't really been on a live for a while. So I don't think it's going to change right now, but I think it will change eventually. So we'll see. How about that? Yeah, I think it'll probably change once it's actually saved. So if you're seeing right now, it is not Color Me Crazy as your afternoon. It is actually the die cuts. So confusing. Let's see. It doesn't let me change that. All right, so it's just gonna show up as die cuts. Sorry, or it'll show up as Color Me Crazy Afternoon. It's not going to show up as our die cut chapter. Anyway, let's get over to the stamping surface, and we'll go ahead and we'll go over the die cuts for today's episode. Okay, so here you can see it. Going to be moving this over here. We're going to talk about die cuts today, and I don't know if maybe I will go ahead and combine the last two together. I don't know. Oh, and then I knocked that off, and that helps keeps the glare off of there. So let's talk a little bit about die cuts, and I'll have to go a little bit back out so you can actually see. There we go. All right, so we all know in the annual catalog that newly introduced stamp sets and die cuts are introduced as a bundle. So we'll be going over some of these bundles in my new series, my Saturday afternoon series, which is revisiting some of these bundle sets that I've previously shown. What I'm going to show you today for die cuts is actually going to be at the back of the catalog. And now I've made them into, and that's kind of, let me just take this like this. I might have to go back down again so you can see it. All right, so what I've grouped dies into 4 main categories. So the first, they match to a stamp set. So the mini catalog or the catalog they're introduced, they're available as a bundle, and you save 10%. So that would be these that we showed here. See how they all have the big 10% savings right there. Once they retire from, well, they don't retire. Once they get carried over, either from a mini to a main catalog, or from one year annual catalog to the next, they no longer are bundled. So then they go down to just your regular amount. And that's like these. Like, here's all that. This was with the He's All That stamp set, and they were bundled either previously in a mini or last year's catalog, but now the dies are separate, priced by themselves. All right, so that's the match to a stamp set. There are a lot of dies that are introduced just as layering shapes. Here's Stylish Shapes, one of the more popular ones. You also have the Nested Essentials, the Deckled Rectangles. So these are all die sets that are introduced. They usually are not matched, not matched to a stamp set. They're usually standalones, but sometimes they might be attached to a stamp set. But they're standalone layering shapes. So that was my number 2. Then you have edges and backgrounds. And let me show you what I mean by that. All right, so here's like a background die. This does circles. So you run it through and it'll make circles all in your cardstock. So it's a standalone die that creates a background. Then you also have, and I'm sorry, I have so many little things over here. You also have what I consider edges. So here is basic edges die set. You also have, and this is more of like a detailed background. I think this was part of a stamp set at one time. No, I think it was always on its own. Not sure. But here you have a nice background stamp all by itself. There's also this set. I love this set. I've used it a lot. This is the Patchwork Pieces. So this is what I would consider also falls into your edges or background die sets. Sorry for the glare. There's a lot of sunshine today in the Chicagoland area, which we're thankful for. Don't get me wrong. All right. Then the last one I say is alphabet and sayings. So currently, I think we only have 2 sets of alphabet dies. We have, this is in the online exclusives. This is the mini alphabet dies. So one sheet cuts all those alphabets. And I think, let me see. I think I have it over here. Mini alphabet dies. It's in my stack. So see, then I'll cut out a sheet at a time and I'll put them into my different parts of the alphabet. Oh, no, one's upside down. I'll have to put those back together. Anyway, so this is this set. This is the mini alphabet dies that's online exclusive. This is in the catalog. This is alphabet a la mode. They're a little bit bigger. So then again, you can just cut out individually the letters that you need. I use this for my New Year's cards that I sent out. And then you have sayings. Now sometimes the sayings come with an alphabet set. Like this one, the Charming Sentiments. So that was bundled at one time with an alphabet set. But then sometimes you have word sets that are just introduced on their own. And that is the Wanted to Say set. And I also have shown this on a video, but you can see that it says it's new. So this means that you only can get it this way. Oops, sorry. Let me put it down so you can see. So you can only get it this way. It is not in combination with a stamp set. So it was introduced just as a word by itself, saying. So I think that's also fabulous. And I did a video with these Wanted to Say dies. So that's my alphabet and sayings. Now there are other ones that can be considered out there. And let's just go through. I'm going to lay this down. Let me see. I have to get it a little bit more out. Sorry, I did zoom it in again. So sorry about that. Can you see? There we go. So let's just go ahead and we'll go through what these in the back pages. So these aren't bundled currently. This was actually with a stamp. This is a standalone alphabet set. This was with a set. This was with the set. This, it coordinates with a set. I don't remember, maybe I didn't get it as part of a set. This was a standalone. This was with a set, matched to a set. This was a background stamp that, and it's kind of like the Whimsy, where it creates like, and I don't have this one, but what it does is it creates a background, but it's not really a punch out. It just gives you that stitched look to your cardstock. All right, so these match with stamp sets, matches with, oh, this is a standalone. This was a standalone by itself. You can see that it was a standalone because it doesn't say coordinates with, but this was a standalone from either a mini or last year's catalog that carried over. Matches to a stamp set, a standalone layering, hybrid, which we went over on last week when we did our dry embossing. So they usually consist of a embossing folder and a die. So, but I consider that as matches to a stamp set, even though it may be a standalone. Here's a background. This was a standalone last year. They got carried over to this year. This makes a mechanism. So this was how you could create like little spinning wheel. So it had like the little opening and you turn it and the different openings, words, dies can be shown. Background with a set, 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 with a set. So these were all from either annual catalogs or a previous mini that carried over but not bundled. Matches to a set, standalone layering shapes, matches to sets. Oh, this does not match to a set. And this was very popular. I didn't get it because I have enough flower dies as is. But this was a standalone set, die, I'm sorry, that you could create all different types of flowers with. So it was pretty good examples on that, but I personally did not buy it because I have enough dies to last me a lifetime for flowers. All right, the standalone background matches to a set. Matches to a set. You can see it says these all say coordinates with, so these were all sets from a previous catalog or mini. Stitch with Whimsy. Now, let me see, I don't think I have my example anymore, but this is like I was telling you with that background. You can see that these don't have a cutting edge on them. They just will do this little stitched look. So when you put it on a card front, it's just going to give you that stitched look. So we will show you this one. I'm not going to show you a lot of these dies because we would be here forever. And like I said, I have my appointment I have to make. Again, standalone shapes, hybrid, standalone, the tags, matches to a set, standalone words, and matches to a set. And then that is it. I'm showing you these dies that are not currently bundled. A lot of them, though, are bundled with a set. So let's go ahead. I'll just show you a couple quick examples just so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's grab one of these Whimsy dies. Going to go ahead, I'm going to get one that's a little bit smaller than my cardstock. Let me get out my plate 1, my plate 2, and 2 3s. Oh, you know what? I said I was going to do this, And usually I do it at the beginning of the year, but I am going to do it now. Oh, look at that. New die cutting plates. Now, most people will introduce a new one and use an old on top. When I do these, I like introducing them at the same time. So I'm going to have one that's a cut and one that's going to be on the top. And the reason why I like introducing them at the same time, I like to have a clean one, only because when you are doing sometimes embossing, some of those scritchy lines show up. So I am going to go ahead and get one of my markers that's not neon. Here we go. And I'm going to write on here, cut and clean. All right. It's kind of like opening a new Versamark pad. It's like, ah, new one. All right, so I'm going to put the cut in the bottom, and I'm going to try to keep this one clean of cut marks. That way, when you're using like an embossing folder or whatever, you don't get a lot of those scritchies or those marks showing on your paper. All right, so now since this is the first time I'm using this, it's going to crack. Do not worry. It's going to crack. It's going to crack loud. Don't worry. It's supposed to. Oh my goodness, so exciting. I haven't had new cutting plates for at least a year, if not a year and a half. Oh, that didn't crack too badly. Not bad. All right, so you can see, oh, look at that. The first marks. Can you see that? Oh, brand new cutting plates. Gotta love it. Like Christmas. All right, but here, and let me get a piece of just typing paper. Here you can see how you get those stitch marks. So you could, I mean, if you really look, you could almost see the paper through it. But usually, and here I'll get another piece here. Usually you don't see too much of the underneath color from it. You can take let me put that up. See, you can't really see the green there, but you could actually take, if you hold it back, you can see it. So if you pop it up, maybe you can see a little bit of color, but it's more just to get that stitching. Well, hi, honeybee. How are you today? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. So, that's just going to give you the little stitching in there. So it's not a die cut where it's going to pop something out. It's just going to add that embellishment to the back side. All right, so that's the Stitched with Whimsy. One of the other ones that I want to show you is the layering, because everyone loves the layering. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just with the same piece of paper, cardstock, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to create a frame on the inside. And I'm going to use, you can use the 2 consecutive sizes. I'm going to use this so there's a little bit of a bigger frame. Because if I use this on a card, I'm probably going to have a focal point in the middle. So why not use that inside of the frame just for your cutouts. Sorry, make sure it gets back up there. Reduce the amount of bulk in your card, but also save on paper and additional scraps. That didn't even clink very loud, so very nice. So don't be afraid when you get those new cutting plates. They will work. They may make some noises, but it's such a great feeling. All right, so here is that frame. And see on this, I still can get a smaller layer. And I would have to cut this down. But see, you could still use this, cut this down, and use it to layer a card. No one will ever know you cut out from the middle of it. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you with die cuts is alphabets. Because, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but I used to call myself, and I'm not making lightly of anyone's, you know, situation out there, but I used to call myself an alpha-holic. I know people can say chocoholic and it's okay, but sometimes when I would say I was an alpha-holic, I got some feedback, pushback. So I don't mean it in any way derogatory to anyone's fight out there. That's why I really emphasize it, alpha-holic. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to cut through. This is that online exclusive set I was telling you about, the mini alphabets. Yeah, if I see an alphabet, I can't resist. I have to buy it, whether it's a stamp set, whether it's a die. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to alphabet sets. So again, with my new cutting plates, this is really going to probably crack. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that die on there. Get my new clean plate, and we're going to roll that through. I agree. These are the perfect size. I mean, I do like my alphabet a la mode, wherever I put it. It's over here on the side somewhere. I do like my alphabet a la mode, but sometimes they're just a little too big for a card. These are the perfect size. All right, let me get my little, even though I've dumped out one of the envelopes, so you can see here. Look at all those beautiful letters. I don't have my take your pick brush right here, but they'll just fall out, and you want to be careful. Let me put this down to the side and move this over. On some of these, like this G, you see where if you press, most of these are going to come straight out. With some of these that have the inside cuts, just be a little more careful. There's a lot of cuts going through at the same time with this die, but look at all these fabulous letters you get. And then, like I say, I go ahead and I put them in my little, I have a whole stack of different bins over here. And so I have my, I lost all my lettering, but I think this is my B through D, I think. I don't know. I have one for just vowels. And as you can tell earlier, I dumped a bunch out, so I have to resort. But once I cut a whole thing, they'll go into these little pockets and be ready for any card that I'm not doing. I'll take the letters out I need for right now, and then the rest I will put off to the side into those bins. All right, let me go ahead, create a little bit of a mess here. Have dies all over my work desk over here. But then again, those were going over most of those die categories. Let me see if I can get that big again. So going over most of those die categories we talked about. The only thing we didn't talk about, like I said, were the current stamp sets that were bundled. We didn't go through those one by one. Sorry. We didn't go through these one by one. I am doing a afternoon series on Saturday and Sunday for the next 7 weeks, where I will show you the 7 different sets from the annual catalog that I have. So that's going to be my afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday series for the next 7 weeks. But we didn't go over those in here. We mostly stuck to the individual dies. But that's kind of an overview about dies, just for those who maybe are new to dies, maybe have different questions about what if I want to buy dies, what do I want to get? Me personally, I would always say, if you can't afford to get a bundle of time, get layering shapes. You'll never go wrong with having a bunch of layering shapes to go with your stamping idea, well, your stamps and your creating ideas. So that would probably be, even though I love my alphabets, probably I would say out of these categories, if you're just starting off with dies, I would go for the layering shapes. You're going to get the most bang for your buck out of those. And then, of course, second would be alphabet and sayings, because that's just me. All right, guys, I did get done. I'm going to run off now. Get ready to go to my, oh, let me come back down here. Let me sit back down and move the camera. Phew. All right. Oh my gosh. I need to go brush through my hair before we leave for my errand, my appointment. So, thanks a lot, guys, for stopping in. It was great to be live again instead of doing it as a premiere. Life just gets hectic and you do as much as you can. But I am going to be back this afternoon. I'm not sure if it'll be a live or if it'll be a premiere, but we will be going over that first stamp set bundle. And so today will be Wonderful Thoughts. So that's kind of the best of both worlds. Let me give you a sneak peek of what that looks like. Let me grab my Wonderful Thoughts from my shelf back here. So this is what we'll do in this afternoon. We're going to use this bundle set, Wonderful Thoughts. So it's kind of a mess, I'm afraid, but as you can see, it has the dies and these stamps that coordinate. And it's very strange that I only had 7 bundles that I purchased from the annual catalog. I guess I do a lot of purchases for my mini, but yeah, we'll start that this afternoon. It'll either be live or it'll be recorded as our premiere. I guess it just kind of really depends on how long my errand takes. So anyway, thanks guys for stopping in. Have a great Saturday. Hopefully I see you later. I'm going to aim for 1 o'clock Central Time to go with that next one. But thanks for stopping by. Give me a thumbs up, send me a comment, share this video. Most of all, have a great day. Bye for now.